Salute booktube, welcome back to my channel. I've got a tag video for you today. I got tagged by Angelina. It's Angelina with a hard G. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. She hasn't corrected me, so I'm assuming it's correct. But Angelina's channel is called Books Do Things to Me. I'll link it in the description. You gotta check it out. Check out her video. She did this tag. It's the childhood books tag, and it was originally created by Fantastic Magical, and apparently it was created 10 years ago. So it's been around for a while, and it apparently very popular because it's still going around on booktube. And Angelina very kindly tagged me. Again, do check out her video, her version of this, and her channel. In her video, she's got a very interesting background, some nice Russian style carpet, woven sort of rug, and a very nice sewn sweater. Very similar to the Oriental rugs we see more in the Orient. And because Angelina's originally Russian, it's just fascinating. Russia, you've got one side of Russia is the Oriental side, and it's also got an Occidental side, and it's a tug of war between the two going on in Russia. It's very fascinating. But anyway, do check out her channel, and I'll start with the questions. The first question is: were you a big reader as a child? The answer to this is yes, but it also depends what you mean by child. For people who have watched have been following my channel for a while, I've mentioned this before quite a few times. I was a pretty big reader as a child, for a child. I was a very avid reader as a child. But a child until I was about 12, 13, once I became a teenager. I guess a teenager is still a child. But once I became a teenager, my reading really digressed. So most of my high school, secondary school years, I wasn't a reader at all. Although I was a reader in my elementary or primary years. So I started as a reader, and then I tailed off in my teenage years. And then once I went to university, I rekindled my love of reading, and I've been a reader ever since, really, ever since university. Question number 2 is, did your parents read to you? If so, what? No, my parents did not read to me. My parents are not readers. They're not very bookish. They think I'm weird because I have all of these books, and they're not the biggest readers. So I wasn't read to. The reader in my family was my grandfather. My maternal grandfather was a very serious reader. He was a translator of a lot of English books into Arabic. For those of you who don't know, I'm based in the Middle East, in the United Arab Emirates. So he translated a lot of books from English to Arabic. So he was a reader, and my parents say I took his genes, the reading genes. But that's very controversial, and I don't think there's such a thing as a reading gene. Anybody can get into reading if they really wanted to. So it's not like you have to be born into it. Definitely not. But no, my parents themselves weren't big readers, and they never really read to me. But that doesn't mean that they didn't encourage me to read. My parents always supported me, purchasing books when I was younger, encouraging me to read. Actually, I've got a lot of my childhood books. I still have them, and I'll show you some of them once we get through some of the later questions. Most of them my parents bought for me when I was a kid. Question number 3 is first bookish memory. For this one, I think the first bookish memory I had was in the 4th grade. I was reading children's books, but once you reach the 4th grade, I think educators, teachers know this. There's a shift in the child's brain. You step up a level, I guess, once you reach that age. And for me, in the 4th grade, I actually moved schools. So I changed schools on the 4th grade when I was entering the 4th grade. And when I was moving to the new school, just before the school year started, my mother took me to the school to visit the school, to see it, to get acclimatized to the new school. And the teacher who was my fourth grade, who eventually became my fourth grade teacher, was there to meet me and to introduce the school to me. And she was a very interesting lady. If my memory serves me correct, she was, I think she was German Czech, something like that. I don't know too much about her background, but I do remember she was German Czech. So she was a bit of a strict teacher, but that was a good thing. I like strict teachers. I need the discipline of a strict teacher, so I really enjoyed her class and her teaching style. But when I went to visit, and she met me with my mom when we went to visit the new school, we went into the classroom. She had like shelves of books for the students. So I was there. I was still on summer holiday technically, but she said, just before I left, she said, those are the books. I want you to choose one or two that interest you, pick them out, and that's your first homework assignment. You're not going to sit around and mope in the summer. You're going to read books. So I took two books. She said, read them and then bring them back on the first day of class and tell me what you thought of them. So that was it was a memory, a bookish memory I remember. I wouldn't forget. I won't forget. And it was really, I guess that really, the passion for books started there. I was reading before, but again, I guess before fourth grade. Fourth grade, I must have been eight-ish, 7, 8. So that's the early memory that sticks to my head, and I really appreciate that teacher for what she did. Although, again, I regressed from my reading a few years later. That experience kept that reading, a love of reading in me. Even though it faded, it eventually came back, and the results are here in front of you. Question number 4. Be honest. Did you read books assigned to you in school? When you're talking about assignments, now you're getting into high school. So I did 4th, 5th, and 6th grade at that new school I mentioned, and then once I got into, I guess what Americans call junior high, which is basically secondary school, the 7th grade, or year 7 in the British system. Again, I moved schools, and I moved schools to the new high school, and that's where my reading kind of regressed. Teenage boys, high school reading. Again, I went to an all-boys high school, so an all-boys Arabic high school. So I don't wish that for my worst enemy, but that was where I went for my secondary school, and you kind of had to hide the reading, the love of reading, because I guess high school is a little bit, you want to fit in a bit, and if you were reading in an all-boys school in high school, at best you'll be called a weirdo, at worst you get picked on. So I guess I stopped reading to kind of fit in. That being said, that's when assignments came. High school assignments, reading assignments was mostly high school. And I was actually very good at, although I didn't know it, I was very good. So my schooling, I did really well in English class, and I did very well in history class, social studies, that kind of thing, geography. I was really good at that. Mathematics and the sciences, physics, chemistry, etc. Not so much. But those subjects I did really well, and there was a lot of reading assignments in high school, and I did them, but I wasn't a reader. I didn't appreciate it. And again, although I was in an Arabic country doing my high school, I was in an American school, and that's why I've been reading English and learning in English since I was young. That's why my English is kind of good. So there was a lot of Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar. There was 1 year we did British literature, and then another year we did American literature, so it was a good mix there. I remember, I think it was senior year, we did Beowulf, and then when I went to university, I had another course, and Beowulf was given to me again. And I didn't take it, what was it? Did you read the books assigned to you in school? because I had done Beowulf in my senior year, once I got to my first year of uni, I was like, oh no, not Beowulf again. Again, I didn't appreciate it. So I at university, I didn't really read Beowulf as closely as I should have, and my grades suffered because of it. Question number, so these aren't numbered, so it's 5. Question number 5. Where did you get your books as a child? I was fortunate again. We had access to the Scholastic reading catalogs back in the day. This is going back again to primary school. So I got a lot of them. We used to order them, and they'd come in batches all the way, I think, from the United States. So that's where I got most of my books, or from bookstores. My parents would take me, and I'd find something interesting, and I'd get them. But that's probably the main place where I got my childhood books at the time. Question number 6. Did you watch any television meant to inspire reading? Yes. Again, growing up in the 90s, in my part of the world, American and British, just Western television started to come. Cable television and satellite dishes became very popular at this time. So I was fortunate enough to get a lot of that sort of television to watch. 2 TV shows come to mind for me. And again, because I read mostly nonfiction, I read mostly history, and I like geography and social studies. When I was a kid, I liked that kind of stuff. There was a show, I don't know, I'm sure most likely American viewers will know it. It was a show called Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Does that ring a bell to anybody? I remember the theme song, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Very catchy opening musical sequence, but it was a very unique show. It was a very interesting show. Carmen Sandiego was this female protagonist who would run around the world. I don't remember the exact. Was she like a criminal, and you had to go and find her and chase her, and she would run around the world, and you'd have clues and hints, and you'd have to try to find her and guess where she was in the world. And it was both a show, but it was also there was like questions. So it was mostly a geography and history, but mostly geography. So they would say like, she's in the capital of Peru. And so the host of the show would say, what's the capital of Peru? And you'd have to guess. And then, or she's in the capital of Japan, or whatever, or she's in the longest river in Africa, or just, it's been a while. I've actually forgotten it. I don't know if, I doubt it's still, I did a bit of research before just to check remember the music, etc. I think Netflix did a remake of it recently, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, but I don't know how popular it was, or how popular it still is, if it's still going on. But that was an interesting one that encouraged my history and geography, my love of history and geography, and my love of reading history and geography. So that one, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? And then the second one is Jeopardy. Dun, 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 dun. I still remember the music. The Double Jeopardy, it was a Final Jeopardy. That was with the Alex Trebek, which I think he passed away pretty recently. So the show, I think, doesn't exist anymore. I don't know if it's on American TV, but we used to get it. And I used to watch it. I used to watch it as a kid. We're talking about Carmen Sandiego was a bit younger. Jeopardy, let's say, when I was 9, 10 years old, 11, I used to watch Jeopardy, like adult Jeopardy. Like I'd get maybe 1 out of the 100 of questions they'd ask. I'd get 1 right. But it would challenge me. It would challenge me to try to improve my knowledge. For those of you who don't know, Jeopardy was like a game show, trivia game show. There's just different subjects, and you have to choose. And every time you get a correct answer, you get money. And whoever gets the highest money, it's the points. It's a point system, but the points is money, basically. So, yeah, that was a memory and a childhood TV experience, which I think was educational, and again, fed my love of history and those kinds of history, geography, general knowledge, even science. They had subjects, everything, music, movies. I'm sure you can find Jeopardy clips on YouTube, classic Jeopardy clips. Next question, I've lost count, so I'm just going to say next question. What sort of genres or storylines did you like? As a child? Again, I was a pretty open-minded child. I was a clean slate, so I just read whatever you gave me at the time. I actually have some of the books. I've got them here just to show you what kind of genres I like. I'll start when I was like really young child and then move on. And then of course there was the great big gap of darkness in teenage years, which I have no books from. But I still have a lot of my childhood books here with me. I'll show you some of them. One example, this is the original from, I must have been 6, 7 years old. This is Roald Dahl, James and the Giant Peach. That's one example. The other Roald Dahl I have, also my original copy, battered but still hanging on like a champion. It's actually called Danny, the Champion of the World. The glare, it's a really nice cover, but I don't know if the glare is helping out. But I think it's I don't even remember. It's been so long, but I think it's a boy and his father. Again, these are a bit laddish, a bit boyish, but that was one of the earlier books I have that I still have, because I did my elementary school or my primary school in a British school, so it was a very British author, Roald Dahl. When I went more into later years, I got into a more American system, and what I got into later. I remember very fondly and enjoyed, and I read. You can tell it's really a battered copy, but it's still there, still hanging on. It's by Brian Jack, and it's the Redwall. And this is a series, Redwall series. And look at that cover. Again, the glare is not doing it justice, and my poor camera quality camera. But look at that cover. Just an excellent book. I have very fond memories of this. Basically, it's about it's like a fantasy, but it's got like adventure. It's about a mouse who pretty much controls a field, and he's got allies. I think the otters are his allies. The other animals, more friendlier animals, are his ally. The beavers and I don't know, I can't remember. But then there's the enemies. The enemies are the rats and the snakes, and there's others. You can see that's the rat army that's coming to attack Redwall Abbey. It's set in the field of a English medieval abbey. It's really, really good. I'm doing a terrible job of describing it, but it's another childhood. What was the question? Sort of genres or storylines did you like? I really enjoyed this. And then another book, I've showed this, I think, in one of my previous videos. Again, my battered copy, again laddish, but this was when I got a bit older, just before the cusp of teenagehood, just before I stopped reading. A book that's stuck in my mind, very well known, Lord of the Flies. My battered copy from when I was maybe 11, 12 years old. Again, very laddish, very boyish, but for better or worse, I remember, you can tell, I thoroughly enjoyed it as a child, and I'm happy that I still have it. Again, the question about my parents not reading to me, no, they didn't, but they kept my books, and I've got a lot of childhood books which I've kept for nostalgia purposes. The next question, favorite children's or picture book? I don't know if I have a favorite. But I had a favorite. Well, I guess it was a favorite, yes. It's not very well known, and it said, because it's a picture book, I chose a book, again, to show you what kind of books. Again, this is when I'm very young. This is, again, 7, 8 years old, but these are Penguin books. One of them is called Countries. It's just simply called Countries. Again, you can see from a very young age I like nonfiction, I like geography, I like history. So this is it's just a book, it's a picture book with, I still got my name when I was a child. It goes, so the first chapter is Europe, and it gives you facts about Europe, and there's a map. And then it goes, select country, United Kingdom, is that Ireland? Sorry, it's upside down. Sorry, France, France, Spain, Germany. And there's just facts about small columns, but a fact. You know, you have North America, of course. There's a Statue of Liberty, USA, Canada, South America. You've got the colorful parrot. It's really nice art, actually. Look, this is Argentina. Look at the Argentina picture. There are a couple dancing the tango. And then you've got like Peru. They talk about the conquistadors. So this was a favorite. I remember as a child just reading this. This is Asia, this is the Middle Eastern part. Yeah, so this is one example. A second example is, I'll just move this. Sorry, my ergonomics are not that great. But this is another one, again, my love of history. And I'm actually reading for a Historathon on this subject. This is another Puffin book. It's called Explorers and Voyages of Discovery. Look at that cover. That's for a picture book. Look at that. It's a caravel. You can see the palm trees coming out. I read this book to death. Look at the artwork on that. You've got the sort of Eastern Arabian looking sailor with an astrolabe, I guess. It's got the maps. Look at that. The ship, I think that's a Viking ship. Again, I'm glad I still have this. The first chapter, who were the first explorers? That looks ancient Egyptian, I guess. How did the early explorers find their way? You've got the birds and the stars, but then it just keeps going. It goes on the Vikings. You've got who were the first Arab explorers? You've got an Arab-looking Oriental man, the famous Arab dhow, the famous Arab sailors who linked Europe to Asia in the medieval times, especially the Chinese. Of course, you got who discovered America. That's Columbus there. Very nice artwork. The caravel. That's the name of the ship. It just goes on and on and on. It's at the end. It's even got my doodling on it. How is space explored? That's the last chapter. Look at that. Very beautiful. So, not really a book, but just more of a kind of a textbooky thing. But I thought it would be interesting to show for that question. Next question: favorite chapter or big kids book? Well, for that, and then the next question is favorite children's series. I'll combine these two because I did read series as a kid. I mentioned the Scholastic. Most of the books I got from Scholastic is the Goosebumps series. Again, these are my classic, my children Goosebumps. A portion of my collection. I have more, but this is edition like volume 2. I've got which is Stay Out of the Basement. I have volume 3, which is Monster Blood, with green gooey stuff coming down the stairs. It's by R.L. Stein. Number 4 is Say Cheese and Die. And then number 5 is The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. I don't have number 1, but I have 2, 3, 4, and 5. These must be collector editions. They might be worth money. Who knows? But I still have them. But those aren't the adult books. Those were the children's series when I was younger. As I grew a little older, let's say 11, 12 years old, I got into this series, which is probably going to be known to you. I still have the full and the box. This is The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. Again, the terrible video quality and the glare but you can see the photo, and then that's the other side. That's the unicorn. I don't even remember from where, but and you've got the list of the books. And to show that I've actually read them, you can see I remember that one of them was badly destroyed. I would have thought it was A Lion and Witch in the Wardrobe, which I read the most because that's the most popular one. But it's actually book 1, which is really destroyed, and the others are still there. It's still in the box. If I can get them out really quickly. I should have done this before. Just get them out and maybe look at the covers real quick. The Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe isn't that badly damaged, but I've got like 2 or 3 other copies from my childhood, and the other one is well read. But this is part 1, The Magician's Nephew. Very nice cover, but this one is really in a fragile state. Book 2, of course, is The Lion, the Witch in the Wardrobe. Look at that cover. Again, it's also scholastic. Okay. Number 3 is The Horse and His Boy. Number 4, Prince Caspian. That's the same one we saw on the box. Number 5 is The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. And then quickly, number 6 and 7. Number 6 is The Silver Chair. I think that's Brother Edward when he gets into trouble. And then The Last Battle. That's the one with the unicorn on the cover. So nice memories you got me there, BookTube. Brings back good memories. So I was very happy to be tagged on this. I thank Angelina very much for tagging me. Do check out her channel. I'll put it on the description. Check out her video for this. She has a very interesting video. A lot of, because she was born and raised in Russia, although now she lives outside of Russia. A lot of her choices are very unique Russian children's classics. And her video is even the description, she's put links to Wikipedia entries of all the, or not all, but some of the books she mentioned for audiences who might not know much about Russian children classics. So I really highly recommend that you watch it. I thank her very much for tagging me on this one. Again, I think she keeps trying to get background information on me, to know more about me. I think that's why she put me on this tag, but I hope she enjoyed it. I hope the rest of you enjoyed it. I think I'm supposed to tag somebody. I might tag whoever sees this and wants to do the tag, go ahead and do it. This has been around for 10 years. It's probably everybody's done this. So I'll tag Book Salve. I forgot the gentleman's name. His name escapes me, but the channel is Book Salve, and I'll put it in the description. If he wants to do it, you've been tagged, and anybody else wants to do it, feel free. But with that, I'll wrap it up, and I'll say salute, BookTube.